Good morning and welcome to Clarity. My name's Barbara Gray here in the UK, and we're set to spend at least an hour together this morning, just refreshing some tips and tricks on a really beautiful set of stamps. I've been in here since 7 this morning, just having the best time, and I'm so chilled and relaxed. So I look forward to spending a little time in your company. And darling Grace is keeping you company in the room. So if you have any questions, then she's your girl. And I'm just going to check where the chat is because let me just check. That's one thing I didn't do. But I'm sure that we'll let our friends find us. And then let me just find where is the chat? I have no idea. I'm sure it's here somewhere. Not there. Say something, then I'll know you're here. Because I can't see there. No, not there. I wonder what's happened. The trouble is that it always changes, you know. Thanks, Grace. Sound is great. They change the setup frequently. So unfortunately, I'm not able. There they are. Hello. Good. Thank you. There was nobody there. That's why I couldn't find it. Good morning, friends. I've been colouring in. I've been relaxing. I've had a coffee with Grace. It's been a lovely morning. Good morning, Nahid. Come on in. Good to have your company. So I've got a cup of tea, and then I'll show you what we're getting up to today. The Art Nouveau stamps. I drew these years ago. They're a real homage to Rennie McIntosh. I love his style, very classy. And so I was just sitting here and doing some shading, and I'd stamped out one of the large stamps, but today we're actually going to look at the smaller stamps. And I thought this would be quite good to show you the shading trick. You know, we'll do it on the small stamp, but I'll show you on the large stamp because it's easier to see. But yeah, so I'll just pop that to one side. I've enjoyed that. And you'll notice that I didn't use a black ink pad for the outline. I actually used a Pebble Beach. I'm not sure if we've got any in stock, but Pebble Beach is a really good one because it's not black, you know. So when you stamp it out, I mean, this stamp's got loads of black ink on it. So you get a kind of a little bit darker than possibly. Let's have a look. See, it's quite a light grey, you see? Compared to black, it's lovely to stamp, and you get a real soft, so you get quite a soft line. But we'll take a look at that later. We'll compare it. Let's find out if we've got any of those in stock before I get excited about them. Hey, so how are you? How is everybody? Are you ready for Christmas yet? Are you all set to welcome the family? Have you wrapped your presents? Have you bought your presents? Yeah, we were up in London yesterday and we had the best day. We went to see Oliver at the Gielgud Theatre, which is the old Globe. Very lovely, fantastic performance. If you haven't been, you need to go and see this one. It was absolutely spectacular. So that was the highlight of the day, really. And because we went to the matinee performance, it started at 2:30. We were out by 5:30. Went for a brilliant meal in Chinatown. We were home by 8:30. And Gracie said as we walked through the door, that's exactly how it should be done. Nobody wants to get on a train with a bunch of drunks at about 11:30 in the evening, like the last train out of the city to Tunbridge Wells is a terrible one. Yeah, so the matinees are great, aren't they? Now, let's see, what have we got? I was going to show you, yeah, okay, let me show you the products. that's the first thing I can do. So just bear with me a second while we let a few friends find us, and I'm going to see if I've got, just bear with me 1 second while I find the products, and let me just see if they are, yeah, there's one. There you go. So that's what we're looking at. I can see it there. Okay, she's on track. You would think that I was already in holiday mode, wouldn't you? So you can see that I'm in the shack, but actually this is Clarity TV. So if you were going to buy from us today, then you have choices. You can either go online to claritycrafts.com and you can pop 11680. You see the product code at the top? You pop that in the search bar and it will bring up this lovely set of it's an A4 set. I'll show you. And that's how you can find it, by either going online, finding it there, or calling Sue at the office. She's still there. She hasn't gone home for Christmas yet. 01732 868. It's all right. I'm going to get in the mode. I was so laid back that I completely forgot that I'm supposed to be selling today. The interesting thing is, check out the price. So when you look at the price, you'll notice that there's actually 30% off. So there's 30% off today on all the Art Deco stuff, not just the Bijou set, the A4 Bijou set, but also the large ones. And we'll take a look at those. We'll take a look at those in a moment too, shall we? But if you have a look at these particular stamps, I'll show you the stamps themselves. You can see they're beautiful size. Okay, so we've had them large. Look, I can show you. This is the large stamp that I was just playing with, and these are the Bijou ones. So it's quite a big difference. But all the stamps that are on here, which is 11680 for £22.80 plus your club discounts, let's say, are also available individually and larger. So I can show you those as well. They're in the shopping page and Grace will show you where that is. But I found a really nice piece of artwork from Jane Telford that really shows you, with those flowers, the different sizes with that particular rose. It's a perfect example. You see, so there's the large one that I've been using just to calm my nerves. And then you can see how they get smaller and more, you know, there are two in the large set and then two tiny ones in the small set. So well worth looking into. These Art Nouveau stamps are just so lovely to use. When I drew them, I created lots of little colouring opportunities that are very easy to cut out, easy to colour in, very Rennie Mackintosh-esque. Love them, even if I say so myself. The other thing is, because I'm working from home, so I've got my stash, you see, and I can show you exactly. This is my Art Nouveau stash, in fact. Yeah, so you can see here, I'll show you. So I've got my Art Nouveau stash, and in here I've got my large set, the ones that we're looking at today. Okay, so we'll investigate some tricks and tips once a few more friends arrive. And then you can see here I've got stencils, which are great. Okay, so these are my stencils. So it's the designs, but as stencils. These are great. So they're also 30% off. You can see we did some lovely roses. Jim and I, we worked on a few of these together, actually. Then we've got, oh yeah, the Christmas one. I remember doing that one. That's lovely. Then there's another rose one. See, it's all entwined, but quite geo, very Art Deco, Art Nouveau. Oh, there's another one of the same. And then I've got the stars. That's a nice Christmas one. So these are the same designs in stencils as you're going to get in the stamps. And then we've got these sets. So if you go to the website, you'll see all these are here as well. So these are great. So there are these panels, which are lovely with the roses and the corners. I'll show you those in tiny. But everything we've got here, there we've got the poppy fields and the bed of roses. They're also on the smaller set, real nice. Then we've got this. There we go. Look, that one's already mounted. The star, and then we've got the star and the holly. They go together. They're nice. And then the tulips and the snow. Tulips and the snowdrops are together. Roses are together. Check it out. And then I've got those landscapey ones as well with the sunset. That's lovely too. And always these words. And what you'll find is there's a little panel at the bottom of every single stamp, and these words fit into those panels. So you can use them or not use them or put other words in there, but they work really, really lovely. So they're the large set, and then you've got the stencils, and then you've got the smaller, well, it's a large stamp set, but it's got all of the it's got all the designs on one sheet. So I thought, it being so close to Christmas, and this has really been a year of mini makes, hasn't it? With our Clarity Crafts mini makes and ATC's Facebook page, which has been hugely popular. And so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to just shine a light on some rather beautiful stamps. And they've got loads of words. All these words are individual. Remember I was saying, let me just come in a little bit closer so you can see this in detail. And then, oh, other way, Barbara. There you go. So when you see it in detail now, you can see these words, snowdrops, those words drop in there, you see. They're separate. And then tulips, these are lovely designs. It drops in there. But you could put best wishes in the snowdrops. You could put thank you in the tulips. So it's all very interchangeable. These are tall, these are long, if you like. So thinking of you will drop in there. Congratulations can drop in there, you see. So it works that way. And then here you've got a bed of roses and you've got poppy fields. But of course, you could take thinking of you and pop it in there, or congratulate. So it's all very, very interchangeable. And then down the bottom here, we've got Merry. See, I did 2 bars here. Seasons greetings. Merry Christmas. These fit in there. These fit in there. And then you've got loads of beautiful words. I love the font. I love the design of these. Just really nice. So I could take just a note and pop that in there. I could take Be My Valentine, pop that in there. So it's very, very interchangeable, lots of fun. And I shall show you some really nice artwork that the design team have done. But what's on offer today is the Art Nouveau collection that we did and that we've got. And you'll see on the screen, the product code is 11680. Grace, I'm sure, will give you the link. And the other interesting thing is, of course, the price, because you'll notice that we've dropped on this product of the day, we've dropped the price by 30% plus your club discounts. So that's pretty good. And that we've actually done for the larger ones as well. So if you really are taken by this, or you've paid, maybe you've got a wedding coming up, or you know, or you make to sell. I mean, we're an angel company, you know, maybe you see a lot of mileage in these little stamps or in the large stamps, because you've got the stamps and the gift tags. You've got small cards, you've got gift tags, you've got wrapping paper, you've got it all going on here, haven't you? You've got wall art on the large ones, and then you've got the nameplate for the artist on the back. So many options, so many choices. I think you'll find these are a really great investment. And if you've got other things to spend your money on today, I will be the first person to understand that. I really get it, okay? But make a note of the product, watch and enjoy, and then perhaps next week or the week after, or in January even, you'll say, oh, do you remember those lovely Rennie Mackintosh those lovely Art Nouveau stamps she did? I think I'm going to treat myself to those. There you go. But the price is 30% plus your discount, plus your club discount, which reminds me as well, don't forget, if you're renewing your club subscriptions, if you renew them this side of the 31st of December, so before the 1st of January, we're also going to add double points for what you spend on your subscriptions. We're going to add double points to your account. That's worth having too. So let's have a look. I've shown you the product. I've told you the bargain. Now I want to show you a couple of little samples from the design team. And then I thought we'd have a play. And I'll give you a couple of tricks and tips on how to use little stamps. You know, there are ways to ink them up. There are ways to one-liners, how to slot them into those gaps, how to use the corner stamps. Lots of different tricks and tips. So let's take a look at some of the artwork and then we can go from there. Yeah. So the first thing I want to do is shine a light on the panels. So these panels, I just think these are beautiful. I know I shouldn't say that because I drew them, but I do think they're lovely. So what I'm going to show you how to make a box with the panels. Here's another one, really nice. So same panel, look, infill the back, infill the front. Interesting, they're the same. Now we've got that little stamp there. Let's have a look. There it is. So there's the panel, see, which I'm going to use in a minute. And then we've got if I take a piece of white copy paper, I'm so happy today, you know, like there's a German expression, it's called wunschlos glücklich, which literally translated means wishlessly happy. It means you're so happy that there is nothing you could add to your list to make you happier. Wunschlos glücklich. Isn't that lovely? So we've got this set of stamps, and what we're going to use first is this beautiful little panel here, right? So I'll show you how to make a box with it. And then you'll see these little roses here, and that's that rose there. And then we've got my love, and that is down here. See? So the mix and match ability of this. So you could take that, you could pop thank you there. You could say best wishes there. You could, well, tulips would be a bit weird. Darling, isn't that lovely? Sweetheart, happy birthday. See, but I'll show you how to make the boxes. I'll do that. Let's have a quick look at this artwork though, otherwise we'll be here all day. So you can see the difference in colouring. Let's have a look there. Then we've got a combination of the little one and the large one, and we've made an L with it. Who did that? Julie Dunn, Jane Telford, Elaine Milner. And then I like this one a lot too, Tina Morris. So she's taken the larger one and then she's put a little one in the middle. Isn't that a lovely layup though? Look, so we've got that one there, and then she's taken the small one, which is that one in the middle. She's popped that there, and then she's put my love in there with the corners. Isn't that delightful? I mean, I just think, you know what? Dollar for dollar, hour for hour, £22. If you're a Diamond Club member, if you're in 3 of our clubs, then you're only paying £18.73 for this whole set. That's amazing, actually. But I love this. I love the way that this has been laid out. And you can see here there's an embedder. So this is actually a layer, and then there's an embedder on the card. I'm going to show you that as well. This is a rather lovely one from Dee. This is lovely. So she's used, it's a bit grungier. But look how, when you use grunge, see how the colours come through. It looks so pretty. So this is the snowdrop one. She's dropped the snowdrops in there. She's used it in conjunction with a little panel, and then she's framed it all. She's boxed it in with this lovely, these corners, little and large, also in the set. And then she's just blacked in there. Doesn't that look fantastic? Yeah. So you can see here, same corner, coloured in, blacked out. Right, so there you go. That's a really nice little selection of cards that I wanted to show you. So I'll pop those, let me put them there for a moment, and then we'll get started. I'll show you a little demonstration. So I know that most of our friends are going to be busy at the moment because they're going to be getting ready for Christmas. And so, you know, we haven't got quite so many friends joining us today, but that's okay, because the lovely thing about Clarity TV is that we record it always. And so if you have to go out, or you missed something, or you think, oh, I've got to go now because somebody's coming round, I've got to do some baking, etc., etc. You know, you could always come back and watch it later, can't you? Which is, you know, which is great. It's recorded. And Grace will show you the link. She'll tell you where you can go to find your, to find your catch up. I think it's really good that we do that. And so what I was going to do is I'm going to take the little stamp. Let's have a look. I'll show you where I found it. And then I'm going to make a box with it. So I've got a little bit of stencil card. Let's have a look here. So I've got my little stamp, I've mounted it, and I've mounted it in such a way that I can see an end. You see, I can see this end. So that way I'm going to turn the artwork and I'll be able to see the end of so I can line it up, you see? Right, so I've got the card, and it's 3.5 by 3.5. It's our stencil card. And what I'm going to do is make a box. So the object of the exercise, see, I've already made a couple. And it doesn't matter if they're not absolutely perfectly aligned, but you want them to be in a square. Once you colour them in, don't get hung up on it being perfect, because you won't enjoy your stamping experience. But let's have a look. Right, top tip, what we're going to do, we're going to pop that there like so, then we're going to turn the artwork, then we're going to turn the artwork, and then we're going to turn the artwork. So I'm making sure that that's in the right place. I'm lining up the edge. Let me tell you, see the edge of the stamp? It's got like a lip on it, hasn't it? I'm not looking at the black line art. I'm looking at the lip of the stamp. It's got like a little overrun, right? It's a stabilizing lip. And that, I'm lining the outside of that up with the outside of this edge, see? Now this 3.5, I've trimmed it a tiny little bit. I've trimmed it as much of that. If I do it to 3.5, right, there'll be a gap here, but it doesn't matter. But I've trimmed it a little tiny bit. So I've taken a sliver off here, like so that I end up with a piece of card that is, I'll show you, it's 3.5 less a sliver. That's all. Literally like an eighth of an inch on all four sides. Yeah. And that will do. It just makes it easier when you use the outside lip there. Right. First thing you got to know is this is just a piece of card. This is just a piece of card. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So I've used the stamps this morning, so I've already seasoned them. I know that it works. Right, they're nice, delicate artwork. Hover with the handle. I can see that corner, and then I'm just going to pop that into place, and then I'm going to press lightly. That'll do. I don't want to press so hard that I squelch the stamp. Although these stamps don't squelch they don't really squelch because they're solid, you see? Nice, beautiful. So I'll turn that round, and then I'll go again. So I'll ink up the stamp. I'm just using I can also take the stamp and bring the ink pad to the stamp like that. So I can do both. Let's have a look. So I'll turn it round. I've turned the artwork, hover with I'm not worried about the outside of I'm not looking at the stamp, I'm looking at the outside of the stamp and the edge of the card. See? So then I'm going to turn it again. I'm going to do the same thing again. And I can ink up whichever way I like to go. But the trick, right, tip number 1, use the outside of the stamp and the card. Tip number 2, turn the artwork, not the stamp. If you think about it, I'm doing the same thing all the time. Stamp, turn, stamp, turn, stamp, turn, stamp, turn. So it's the card that's moving. I'm not moving the handle like that. Chances are I'll drop it if I do that. So I'll do one more, and then in we go, like so. And now I'm just keeping my eye on the outside of the stamp, and I'll go again. There you go. So I've done all 4 sides. Good enough. You see? Once I've done that, I can do a couple. Oh, here's a couple more that I've done. And another one that I've done. So you get into the swing of it. Some will be better than others, but they all work. Here we go. That one's got a bit of a gap. Don't matter. That one's got a tiny gap there. Pick one, any one you fancy, and then we'll take it to the next level. So now we're going to look at colouring in. Okay, so we've done that. And you see, when we looked at the colouring in, you could see that there was some of our friends coloured in the leaves, others coloured in the whole thing. It's entirely up to you, right? This is where you can really change the feel. So obviously the stamped versions that we've just looked at, we've used pinks and lilacs, you know, but it is the week before Christmas. Do you know that it's 6 days to Christmas today? So I was thinking this would be quite interesting to see whether we can make this look Christmassy. I can't see why not. It's all about the colours and the message. Okay. So let's see if I'm going to just for fun, I'm going to use these, and I would have used the gold one, but I couldn't find it in my stash here. So I just grabbed my Pergamano gold pen, because I couldn't find the gold one of these. I don't have it here. But what I do have is the Posca pens, red and green. So let's come in a bit closer so you can see what I'm up to. Right, now let's check this out. I'm going to put my colouring spectacles on, and I'm going to start with the red, and then I'll just go for it. And you'll see how quickly this comes together. So I'm just using a piece of black to loosen up this acrylic ink. Right, here we go. Nice. And I think I shall just hold my, so if you were making, I'll show you. I'm just going to go for all the reds, think of red berries. Okay. So I've already done, I've done one of these, but I'll show you what I'm getting at. I'll just do one side. So you'll see I go around the outside, then I go into the center. The thing about these acrylic pens, you could use, come on, you could use Perga colors, you could use Perga liners, you could use polychromos. There are lots of things you can use. The thing about the Posca, the acrylics, one of the things that I figured out is they're so good for burnishing. In other words, you can buff them up so they look as if you've embossed them. They have to be quite dry to do that. But let's just say, for example, I'm just going round now, and I'm just going to add, there you go. So let's just say I've done those 2 sides. I would go all the way around and do all the red. Now let's have a look at the green one. Green is lovely, very festive. Interesting how effective it is on black too. Okay, just saying, this is the opacity of the acrylic ink, isn't it? Now this time, what I'll do is I'll just do half a leaf. Rather than the whole leaf, let me just go to half the leaf. So I'm just going to go in there, and this is delicate but very pretty. So let's just go in on half the leaf. And you can see that it's quite easy to do. There you go. And then I'm just doing an infill. So you go round and then infill. Easy, eh? That looks pretty, doesn't it? It dries fast too. So you just turn the artwork and get the colour in. Looks nice. Looks very nice. So let's just say that we're going to always stick to that side. And the object of this exercise is to take something, a stamp that's really not that Christmassy, but make it festive. Yeah? It doesn't always have to be holly. It doesn't always have to be holly, ivy, and pine trees to make it Christmas. The colours are the key. So if we're using a real Christmassy berry red and a beautiful fir Christmas green, then you'll see that it works really nicely. And the colour that I really want to add to this is the gold. Now the gold, I've got a gold Posca pen. I'm sure we've got a gold Posca pen in our stash, and I'm sure that many of you have got your gold. Perfect. Okay, couldn't find mine. You just have to do amend, don't you? So I got my Perga colour. I got my gold gel pen out. Pergamano. There you go. And I'm going to do the other half of the leaves with the gold metallic. There you go. Looks so nice. Okay, very easy. And the thing about this as well is once it's dry, if you go over the black line and then you think, oh, I wish I hadn't, you know, because of the opacity of these, you can always go back with a black micron pen and jazz it up again, can't you? There you go. That look pretty. When you've done all of them, obviously you've got little dots there. So just, I'm showing off now, but like the reds and they sit and they work really nicely in here. Now, whether you do all four, you can build up your color really beautifully, but I'm showing off how these are fine line 0.7 mil, and they really do, they work really well. Okay. So let's just pretend that we've gone all the way around and we've done all of it. But look how pretty that is now when you've done the whole thing. It looks so nice. It looks so nice, doesn't it? Right, so I've coloured that all in. Now let me get my other glasses on. Right, that's better. So I've coloured that in. Now there's a little trick I want to show you. You may have already seen me do this, but I'm going to show, just in case you didn't see it. I don't know how well I'll be able to show you this on the camera. At the moment, let's say I've done a couple just to check. This is dry now. This acrylic paint is dry. It's acrylic ink, forgive me. Okay, so what I want to show you is, I need my other glasses on again. This is becoming an issue, friends. Right, at the moment, these are quite matte. But so let me take if I burnish the surface, it goes from matte to shiny. It goes really glossy. And I don't know whether I can actually show you this on this camera. Let's just see whether I can give this. It's a bit too close. Sorry, guys. It's me trying to show you how you can burnish the red and the green and the gold, right? So let's have a look. Let me just go in here and I'll just polish with a blending nib, right? I'll just polish that. I'm going to use two different nibs. So I'm polishing this. Now let me see if I hold that up there. Can you see the glaze? You've buffed that acrylic ink and it goes from being matte to being glossy. There, I think you can see that, can't you? And what I'll do is, to do the green, I'll just take a clean nib. So I've got a red nib. I'll show you. I've got a red nib in my box and then I've got a green nib. And I can do this on large expanses of this ink as well, right? So now I'm just going to polish, just buff the green as well. Doesn't take long. It's a lot faster than trying to heat emboss with powder, I'll tell you that. Right, see? And you just do that. It doesn't bleed, it doesn't, and when you hold it to the light now, it goes glossy. I think this is really nice. The metallic is shiny anyway, but you're using 2 pens, 2 blending nibs, look, and you're getting a really nice buff on that. So that's the other thing I wanted to show you. Okay, so now we've done the frame. Okay, we know how to lay it up. We've done the colouring. We've buffed the colouring with a blending pen. They're great things anyway, aren't they? And then the next thing I want to show you is the words. So, so I'm in love with a set of words at the moment. Do you remember Eileen Godwin? We did when she was at the Open Days. If you were at the Open Days, she launched a set of these big blooms. Well, so there was a set, there were some beautiful words woven into those beautiful blooms. And those are the words that I am absolutely in love with. And I know a lot of you are as well. So let me just find them. Let me just find them. You have a look at the artwork while I just pan out a little bit and I'll look for the, there, let's have a look. So you look at that while I just find this artwork, because here they are. Right, so if you look at these words, yeah, I just love these words, okay? Look, there's something about this style that I just love it. Look, I'll show it, take that away so you can see it. It's this particular type of style and it fits so beautifully, not just with the flowers, but also with this particular kind of style. Don't have to put it bang in the middle. Look, in that corner. Wouldn't that look fantastic? There you go, take that away. You're the best. You're the best in the center. You're the best top left. You're the best over here. Bottom left looks good, you know? Yeah, so I'm in love with these particular words. I love the stamps as well, but I particularly love the words. So we've got like Merry Christmas. I'll show you. Merry Christmas. Doesn't that look? See, suddenly, so you've got something that is all spring and flowers and yellows and pinks. Yeah. And now it's gone Christmas on us. And that is a mark of a good stamp design when it can morph like that. So let me take my Merry Christmas. Right, now I've got choices now. So I've got my Merry Christmas. I've mounted it up. Now I can pop my Merry Christmas straight into the center. I can do that. Or this is up to you now. Look, I'll show you. Let's take this one that's half done. And we can take our Merry Christmas and we can pop our Merry Christmas straight into the box, can't we? We could pop it straight in here. I'm going to pop it there like so. I think that looks really nice. So pop that there, see what it looks like. Done. There we are. Looks lovely. So you can pop it straight in there. Or I've got a better idea. If you're mass producing these, say you're making a whole batch of these. Let me pan out a little bit. I seem to be quite close. There we go. So if you're making a whole batch of them, then let me show you a trick. If I'm going to take my Merry Christmas and I'm going to pop it on a 3.5 by 3.5, and I'm going to kiss the top, right? That'll do. Right, let's go again. So I'm going to take my Merry Christmas because it's the same. I'm going to pop it down there like so. Oh, missed a bit. Well, it's a good job I didn't do that on the card then, isn't it? And that's my point. Right, let's come out. I think, see, I missed a little bit, but that's okay. So now I could pop another one there, give a little wiggle. Go. So now what I'm doing is I'm making little labels like that. So this is a lot less pressure if you miss a piece, if you miss a bit like that. Let me just check this camera. If I'm just going to move this camera a little bit this way. Now, let me see if that helps. See it move back. That's better. Right, see, so I can hold it like so, and then I can just hover with the handle and then press in like so. And then I can cut this up. See, I'm going to chop it up. And that way I can make these little sets and I can just chop them up. With a pair of scissors is great. It's absolutely fine. Like that. Now what you got is you've got all these little pieces. See? When you've got them, so then you cut it up, you've got that and that. You can make it larger, smaller. It's whatever you want it to be. You can use Season's Greetings. This is another nice. I'm in love with these stamps actually, but I particularly love the words. There's something about this font that just, it's so, so elegant. Now let's have a look here. Now I haven't inked this one up yet. I haven't seasoned it, so to speak. So let's see. See, I haven't seasoned it. So that means I've got to do it again. You want to ink it up. When I say season, what I'm going to do is ink it up, stamp it, ink it up, and then it's seasoned already. Much better. So this is my way. I could get 8 little tiny toppers, if you like, that I can use. And then I could pop the topper into the center. See? So now I'm starting to, I'm lifting it, I'm giving it a bit more interest. But of course, I want to change the edge a little bit. So I could go back to one of these colors that I used, for example. Look, so this is all chopped up, let's say, but just for the sake of argument, let's take a piece of copy paper. I'm going to take a pink piece so you can see what I'm actually doing here. And then I'm going to take my pens again, my red pen and my green pen. And because I'm only working, remember I've got 8 of these going, so there's no pressure. I think a lot of it is that we don't want to put pressure on ourselves. If you're stamping right into the middle of your hard, you know, your artwork, your original, then the pressure's on, isn't it? Because it's like, I've got to get it right. But if you put a little, I'll show you. If you did that, then there's no pressure. If you make a mistake, you've got a butterfly. You know what I'm saying? So I'll show you how to put an edge around it using it's the same principle as we use when we use our black, when we use our black Sharpie pen. It's the same thing. And what we're going to do is we're just going to use the pen just to turn it, get away from that edge, because this isn't a solvent base. This is there you go. So you just dig into the side of the card, okay? Turn it round, move away a little bit again, dig in, and then drag. Go again, dig in, and drag. There you go, done. And you can do that with the red, you can do that with the gold, you do it with green, you could do it with the black. But what you've got now is these lovely little finished toppers, yeah? And then they sit, let me show you, we're getting there now. Now we're cooking with gas. So we've got these little tiny finished pieces like this. And now if you were making a set, you could pop that one in there. This looks so pretty, watch. See? So now you've got Merry Christmas. Oh, hello, now I've dropped my red one. It's very simple, isn't it? It's all very simple. I could take the red one, I could pop that at a jaunty angle if I prefer. I think it's quite geo though, so I would be always tempted to that to me looks right. Just bang in the center. I would offset it a little tiny bit. But the lovely thing about having these little pieces now is I can decide where I want to put them and whether I want it in red or green. And straight away, your artwork, it's lovely, isn't it? So the last thing is mounting this. If I take, and we've all done this, so let's go again. If I take a 5x5, I'm going to just pan out a little bit so you can see what I'm up to. Right, I've got that stamp and that stamp. Love these stamps, these word stamps. Lovely surprise coming up for you imminently. Can't talk about it. It will be with you soon. Right, now I'm going to take my 5x5 and I'm going to use an embedder. It's quick, it's professional looking, and it works like a charm. So I've got my my Clarity embedders. Excuse me. I'm going to pick the one that goes with the 5x5. This is the front of the card. So when you look at the card, you can see it's embossed. See, it's scored but not folded. And it's scored down. So when I fold out of the score, not into the score, that's the inside. Where it's raised is the inside. You fold that way, otherwise you'll crunch it. Right, so we're going to take the embedder, because we know, let's offer it up to the artwork, and we know that the artwork is perfect for this particular embedder. Let's just come in, excuse my jumper. Right, you can see that the embedder is the perfect size. You see, I take that away. That's exactly what you want, isn't it? Okay, so that's what I'm after. I've figured out on a 3.5 by 3.5, just trimmed a little bit. This is perfect for a 5x5. That will sit on there. Got to put it on the front. Move that to the side. I know many of you have seen this 1,000 times, or at least a dozen times, but I'm going to show you again. Now I'm going to take my low-tack tape. Let me pan out a little bit further because I think this will be interesting for several people. Then I'm going to take my low-tack tape and I'm going to center it so I know it's bang in the middle. It's where I want it to be, on the front. It's on the front. Yeah? Now I've done that, I'm going to take a piece of, let me find a piece of clean pink paper so you can see the difference. And now I'm going to pop this on here, right? So you can see, and then I'm going to flip it over to the front. So this is the inside now. And then I am going to use my finger or my thumb just to run around the outside. And I know that several of you struggle doing this. So the idea is to just be able to see where let me just take this artwork away, where the ball tool is going to go around the outside to embed it. These are embedders, and what they do is they give that illusion of a really classy piece of printed artwork. And there are several pieces of artwork that do that. Now, if you can't get the thick, also, it depends on the thickness of the card. The thicker the card, the more difficult it is. So if you're using really thick card, then you'll struggle to find the embedder. Okay, if that's the case, then we're going to find those. I'm going to go back to that embossing. This is what I do, but you could use, everybody, different strokes for different folks. This works for me. I'm going to use a blending pen because it's the inside of the card. I don't want to slide over. And the blending pen, because it's soft, see, if it slides over the outside, it doesn't mark the card. Because it's soft, I'm just using a nib now to sort of push up to, like that, see? And you can see it just slides around, and now you can absolutely see where the embedder is on the other side, can't you? And that's going to be my nib that I use for that job. Other people use, you could use it, listen, you could use anything that will give you an edge. There you go, that will give you an edge. Some of the Pergamano tools will give you an edge. Everybody's got a different way of doing it now. But that'll do for me. And then I'm going to use my number 2 tool, and I'm just going to slide through there, go around the corner like so, okay? Then I'll turn the artwork, just like we did earlier on. I'm going to turn the artwork, dig in, go around the corner, go back. Go again, go slowly, dig in, down we go round the corner, go back. So I'm getting a really nice, crisp dig in, round the corner. So I've done all 4 sides now. So I think you can see that's the inside of the card. It's really nice and clean. Now when I turn this over, what I'm going to do is just gently lift that low-tack tape off. And I have to say, it's important that you do use low-tack tape because you've really compressed that card there. If you use normal masking tape, it will rip the paper or the card. So now I've got my my embedder is done. I put that back in my little stash, and you can see now that there's a really beautiful professional embedded card, and it's as beautiful on the inside as it is on the outside. Can you see that? So when we do that now, and this is one of the highlights. I don't know when we've started using embedders, but this is probably one of the best ideas we come up with in a while. So I'm just going to score but not fold. So now I've got the front of that card, and then I can take my little Christmas gesture. See, that sits in there beautifully. And then I can decide which words, green or red, I want to use. Pop that in there like so. Doesn't that look nice? I think it's very classy. And if I were to use, let me see, I'm going to have to, I know we've run out of these, but I'm sure I've got one in my little stash. Let's have a look. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, we've run out of these. But let's take our tape runner, and then we'll just finish the card, shall we? So I'm just going to add my tape runner to the back, like so. That'll do. Now that's the front of the card. I'm going to open it from the side. I'm deciding that that's the center. Go into the middle. So I'm going to pop that right in the middle of my embedder, like so. Nice. That'll do. And then the middle, I'm going to go, I think, do you know what? I like the green one. I like the green. So I'm just going to take my topper. So lots of little tricks and tips, little refresher. And I think I'm going to pop that there, like, what do I think? See, I should have done this beforehand. I like it there, to the left. That line there. So it kind of ties in with all those stripes, I reckon, there, like that. Nice. There you go. And I've got, look at that, lastminute.com. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's another one. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got a nice little stash going here, ready to make Christmas cards. A bit late. But I wanted to show you how you can take a stamp that's very spring-like and turn it into, show you how to make a box with it and turn it into a Christmas card. So there you go. That's that one. I really like that. And now, are you ready? We could carry on if you're up for it. Let me just put my bits in one box so that I don't lose it all. And I'm going to add my little Christmas card to the stash now. And then I'll think what else I wanted to show you. Just bear with me. How are you all? Are you still with me? Yeah, of course you are. Now let me see. What was I going to show you? Okay, yeah. This is interesting. So let's do this one next. Let's do this one next. What's the time? Is it all ready? Okay. I'll show you this one quickly, and then we'll do the other one. We'll do the other one. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you? I have a plan. Let me show you these cards, and then I'll show you how to use these. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, so for example, this is the larger stamp of what we just took a look at, but obviously you can do it with the smaller stamp too. And then we've got, now notice the smaller, this is what I'm looking at now. It's these corners. Let's take a look at the corners. So this is Elaine Milner, and she's framed the little flower with the corners and just added a note. Look, this is Sarah Brennan, black, silver embossed, looks lovely too. And this is another one by Elaine Milner. Now check out these two, because this is really where we're headed now. So she's taken the little flowers from the tiny set, and she's made a frame with the two little corners that are in that set. Here is another one by Elaine Milner. Look, see, corner to the top. And then she's put a whole little, but she's just used the top of the flowers. You know what I was saying earlier on about mileage, pound for pound, hour for hour. So when you look here at it's £22 4p instead of £31.50. That's a £9.45 savings plus your club discount. That's good, you know. And I want to show you how to position these corners. So let me just show you. Where's that piece that I was gonna? That's that. Bear with me a second. Right, let me just show you this one. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the little rose, I've popped it onto a piece of card. I've put a shadow on this actually. Can you see how I've done the shadow? And I've also put that little corner in and added a kind of an effect. So let's take a little bit of a closer look. You can you see the shadow? It looks as if it's actually sitting on top, doesn't it? But it's not, it's flat. And I've used those lovely words again because I have to. I'm in love with the words. So let me just find my 3.5 by 3.5 again. I was thinking that I might just go round there with the Sharpie pen to finish it. But before I do that, just bear with me a second because I want to show you. Just bear with me 1 minute while I find what I'm looking for. Right. Because I want to show you the corners. That was really where I was headed here. So if I take this and I take the rose, so let's see, I use this rose here, that one, okay? It's the larger of the two. Pan out a little bit now so you can see how I'm going to stamp this. And you can see where I found this. Look, it's a 3.5 by 3.5 again, let's say, like that, a little bit bigger. And then I'm just going to mount this up. So I think I'll use this mount. That'll do nicely. I'll use that mount and I'll pop this one back. Right. And I'm going to pop that stamp there and I'm going to leave a little gap to put a corner in. And then we'll have a little play with the corners. I'll show you a trick. Okay, let's just stamp this in black. I'm using a black archival to do this one. Okay. Simple, simple, simple. So we're just going to stamp that there like so. And always remember, it's just a little piece of card. If it doesn't stamp up perfectly, it really doesn't matter. No, that's nice. Very nice. That'll do. So I've done that. And then I'm going to put the corner in. Now, if we look at this set, let's go put a bit of white behind that so you can see. See the two corners here. So we've got the larger one and we've got the smaller one too. So let's just have a little play for a minute before we actually commit. Let me show you. If I take that stamp, I'm going to use a couple of mounts. Right, so I need to be able to see the stamp. Tip number 1, make sure when you do this that you can see, you see, you've got to be able to see the corner. Do you see? So I'm going to go like that. So I've got it as straight as I can and I can see it, so can you. Now the thing is, this is very delicate here, very delicate. If I ink this up and then I'll squelch. Now I'll show you a trick. If I wanted to put this in this corner here, let's just say, because that's what we're going to do. If I want to put that in the corner there, there's a lot of wobble going on here, right? So what I'm going to do is take a stamp, any little stamp, and put an anti-wobble in that corner. So as soon as I do that, then that stamp there takes the pressure off the wobble. I'll show you with and I'll show you without, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Right, this is just a trick. See, if I do this, look, watch this. I'll come in a bit. If I do that, you can see where the ink's hitting, right? So if I do that, I'll ink up gently, but there's nothing here to help me, right? Because it's all in that corner. So now I've got to kind of try not to just hold it like that, pop that in there. And now the trouble is, right, I'm going to make it pretend that I'm squelching, right? Not bad, but I know how to compensate. I'm going to pretend that I'm not a stamper and I'm going to pop that there. So now if I bring this round, I can hover with the handle. I need to be able to see where it is, but this is going to help massively now. Okay, the stamp that's the anti-wobble. Oh, that's not what you want to do though, Gray. You got ink on your fingers. Chances are you'll have ink on your artwork. Okay. So you make sure you don't ink that up, the anti-wobble device. Then you hover with the handle, and then when you press it down, what you'll find is there's no worry about this. Takes all the pressure off you. Just believe me when I say, when you ink up, make sure you don't ink up the anti-wobble stamp. Then you hover, you line up the outside, and this is where it helps massively. So now you just press in the corner, and you're going to get a perfect corner stamp every time. And there's no worry about squelching the thin ends. Make sense? Now let's take a look at our artwork here. And I'm going to pop this corner there. So it's exactly the same as what I've done on my scrap. And always before I stamp, I think to myself, it's just a piece of card. It's just a piece of card. No pressure. There you go. And then I know it's going to look absolutely perfect. So now I've got my stamp, I've got everything I need. I've done my corners. Just know that an anti-wobble device is a perfect help. It really does. And you can pick any little stamp, and that will do the job for you. And then, just like we did before, you turn the card. I had some pieces of artwork laid up, ready to go. Here we go, look. See, I did a little one as well. So you've got these little pieces of card. So you can go really rinky-dink as well. It isn't about the size. Like, I can take the smaller one. It's all about being able to see what the corner. So I could take the tiny one. I use the same idea. In we go. Turn it over. Pick a. Oh, I'm going to go back with the tulip. I'll stick the tulip in there like that. Now I've got the tiny one. I'm going to do the same thing. So ink up, hover. Even if the anti-wobble's off the card, it doesn't matter. It just stops the stamp from wobbling. Look, in we go. Turn the card, not the stamp. Make it come to you. Hover. I'm literally dropping the anti-wobble stamp down, and then I'm pressing on the stamp. Done. Bit fat, but listen, it works. It really does. Okay, and you can make this as small as you like. So if you wanted to make a frame for a word, then you can go in here, let's say like that, and I can marry those two up now, and my anti-wobble device is still working. There you go. And now I've made a box for a word. So if I wanted to, I could take that off there now, and I could put, what is that going to fit in there? I wonder. Let's have a look. For you. Yeah? So I'm going to, again, it's a one-liner. Yeah, it fits lovely. It's a one-liner, and those are the ones that wobble and will maybe squelch. It's coming a bit closer. Let's see if we can do this then. Okay. So I'm going to ink up my For You. That'll do. This is the key here, this bit. Let me come in a bit closer like that. So this here, this tulip, this anti-wobble word, that helps with this. Because it's a fast drying ink pad and I've been waffling, I've got to re-ink. I'm going to go in, now watch, I'm going to lean on the tulip, on this, and then drop it down. So in, lean, hover, make sure I'm happy with the position, and then down it goes. Happy with that, that'll do, I should think. There you go, bang on. So I just want, and then you can chop that up, and you've got your lovely little topper again. You can do that with a scissors. You can do that with a, do you see? You could take that, leave that like that, and then put the flower there. See? Not chop it up. So much scope for play. Now let me just take that. I'm going to take this one, put tulip there, put my words back. That's the only thing. There are so many stamps on this set. that you really want to make sure that you've got them all together when you're finished. So let's go back to our art. Got loads of options here. And then I'm going to go for, hang on, I'm not going for season's greetings on this one. Before I do the shadow, I'm going to put the word in place on here. So I think I'm going to go for, I've got hugs and kisses. I've got thank you. Hey, let's go thank you. Love thank you. Right. So I take thank you. It's a double, see, because it's a two-liner, you're not going to have that wobble issue. Saying that, it's always a good idea to test it first, because you never know. Want to make sure you've got the right amount of ink, right amount of pressure. Now that look lovely. Okay, so I'm going to pop that there, and I'm going to put thank you right there, tuck it round. Oh, the joys of transparent stamping. Is anybody left, or am I on my own? Now let's see, I'm just going to pop that in there like so, and then press and wait. Give a little wobble, a little wiggle. Perfect. So it's a little bit darker than that, which is exactly what I want. Right, that'll do. Nice, nice, nice. So I'll pop my thank you back on my big blooms sheet so I don't lose that. It's all about a bit of housekeeping. So I've done that, that, and that. Now I want to show you, I think you might be interested to know about the shadow, because I know you like that kind of thing. So let's just take a little look at the shadow, and then I've got one more trick to show you. So what I want to do is use a polychromo, and I've got another polychromo, the beige one. These are our pencils that we have, spring, summer, got all these, haven't we? So I've picked a couple of nice colours, and I'm going to use, I need my colouring glasses on. What's Grace say? Nice, thank you for the compliments. Good. So first of all, let's just do the flower. So I'm using, what have I got here? Rose Carmine. That might be from my stash, actually. It's a darker one, but that's okay. And we're just going to put a little bit of, just a little feathering. Look, I'm going round in circles. Okay. Just to get that nice, just a little bit of pink, an undercoat, if you like, very lightly. And then we'll have a look at how to colour in and how to get depth or shade on little stamps like this. And I'll come in a bit closer. I think I probably want to come in a bit closer, don't I? Let's have a look. Come in a bit. Excuse my jumper. Right, you can see that now, can't you? Okay, so gone in a little bit closer now, so you can see. So we're colouring in. And then what we need to do to get the shadow right, so I've just got an undercoat there. See the shadow on there? And then what we want to do now, where was that large stamp? So that you could see where the shadow is. See, what we're trying to do on the large one, say, for example, the shadow, if we put a light colour down, like now, let me just get the flat of the stamp. Excuse my tummy, gosh. Right, so we'll just put down a light colour like this so you can see what we're up to. Okay, so we've got the light colour. Excuse me, I came off the screen then. And then what we're going to do is see where I've put the grey here. We're going to take the pink and we're going to look at the different layers, and you're going to think about where that's underneath, isn't it? This one. So you're going to kiss that side, and then this one, this is underneath. So you're going to kiss this line here, right? There, like that. This is under, you're going to kiss this one because this is underneath that one. Do you see? Let me just bring this round. I'm being excessive on this so you can see it. So you're building the layers. See, that one's behind that one. So we're going to pop a little layer there and just gently go back and forth. Just swing back and forth. Now this one, I think this is inside here. So we're going to put a little layer there. That's definitely underneath this one. That's definitely underneath that one. See, so you're getting the folds. See how you're getting the folds? So that's under there, that's under there, that's under there, that's under there. I'm doing this really extreme, but you can see. And then once I've done that, now I'll come out a little bit and I'll just feather out. So what we're getting now is we're getting a bit more of a highlights and lowlights. See, so where, see, so you haven't got that stripe now, you're getting a bit more of a blend. And you know you can use blending pens to do this too, can't you? See, so now you're getting a really good shadow. Do you see how we do that? There, like that. And the same, see now this one here, I did it with grey to show you where the shadow actually sits. But my point is that you don't have to use grey to get a shadow. You can use the colour itself and just get depths of colour where you would have a shadow. See? So you look at the difference. One's a lot more vivid than the other one, isn't it? So just wanted to show you that. Now, if we come back to the little one, this is exactly the same. And then also the leaf. So in the first, when we did the first project, we did half a leaf, didn't we? We did half a leaf, half a leaf, half a leaf. This time, let's just get a highlight. We're going to get highlights and lowlights. We're only going to add colour from the base, like that, like feathery strokes, like this, up, 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 always up like that, see? And straight away, you're getting a bit more depth around the base there. And then from the top, a little tiny bit too. And then what you'll find is, it looks like the light's hitting the middle of the leaf, see? So just a little flick from the top and a little flick from the bottom. It's the same in parchment art, isn't it? Look, you go flick from the top. See how nice they look? Yeah. So that's what we're done here, right? And this is just doing the same thing, but just smaller. So you can see why I wanted to do it on a larger scale, so you can see how this works. Now, if we take the darker, the pink now, we've got this colour, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to do exactly what we did on the large flower, but we're going to do it on the smaller flower. And all you need is a slightly gentler touch, just a gentler touch. See, so you go, so when you're colouring in, see how I go back and forth like that? I mean, a lot of you, I'm teaching you to suck eggs here. But you see how you get your shadows? You look at the different layers of the petals, and how, especially this kind of rose is a great exercise in this, because it shows you that that's folded, that's underneath, that's definitely tucked in there. There's a little bit of shadow there. See? That's at the back there. That one's tucked in there, I think. That one's there. So you've got all the different layers, see? See how you're building it up? And then you could just feather it out. But what a difference between the two flowers, look. You see? And then when you've done that, this is not hard on these little flowers like this. And then when you do that, don't rush it. But you're going to do the same thing on that flower. And then with the leaves, you're going to do the same thing again. So you're going to flick from that side and then flick from that side. Flick from the inside and then flick from the tip. From the base and then the tip. And straight away it looks three-dimensional. It gives you that depth. Now we've done that. I'll show you another trick. Because what we do usually, right, we've got this as well. All right, let's colour this in. Got choices now. Let's colour this in. So I can do two things. I can either leave a white line. See, let me show you. You just leave a white line. So you do that colour and that colour. And when you leave the white line, it looks like the light's hitting it. So you need quite a sharp pencil to do this. There. And you need to leave, the thinner the white line, the more effective. If you don't do that. If you forget and you think, oh, I forgot to leave a little white line, then you can always add a white line with a Posca pen. This is done with a Posca pen. And this is done now. You just seen me do it with just by leaving a gap. Okay, choices, choices, choices. Now let's have a look at that shadow. Shadow is interesting because normally when we do a drop shadow, we kiss the line art, don't we? We kiss the line art. Now with this one, this is that boring beige. We always call it warm grey too. It's in that set that we sell, the two. Let me just get a bit of a shadow going. So what I'm doing is I'm getting a bit of a chisel going. See? So I want that chisel. And I'm going to use that colour. And I've got another one here. What's this one? Warm grey 4, warm grey 2, and warm grey 4. So warm grey 4 is a bit darker. That's quite savage, right? Savage is strong. You can always add it, but you can't take it away. So what we're going to do now is take that chisel, that soft edge that we've made, and we're going to, exactly what we just did, we're going to go round and round. See that kind of like that? Really gently. But this time we're coming away from the flower. Look, like that. We could do the same on this one. We're making a real, like almost separate to the flower, as if we were drawing another flower. Now the stalk, normally you would sit right close to the line art. Bring the stalk down further away, like there. Look, bring it down like this. Look, see how I've brought it down like that? See it here? There. You see that? So you're going to come like that and you're going to flick that like so, like that, and just keep flicking it. And then what you'll find is it looks as if, right, and then this one, we'll do the same thing. We'll just bring it down like that. So you're bringing it further away. Same with the leaves, just do like that, little dance underneath each leaf, like that far away. Look, not even touching the actual. And when you do that and you step away from the actual, look, it really looks as if you could put your fingers underneath, as if it's laying on top like that, rather than sticking right close. What we usually do is we stay right close to the edge like this, don't we? Like that. See? And what we're doing is we're lifting away like there, look, and there. Have a play. It's so nice to do. Okay? There you go. So that was the other tip I wanted to show you. I think that's an enjoyable one, isn't it? I think so anyway. So that's how to do those drop shadows that are further away. And then the last thing I want to show, are we ready for one more? And then we'll call it a day, because Grace and I are going out for the afternoon together. We are. We are, aren't we, darling? I don't get my daughter home very often, so this is a necessity. Now, let me see. There's one more I want to show you, because up to now, we've done beautiful, crisp, white card, black line art, colour it in, yeah, which is really nice and really crisp and clean. But what also looks lovely is when it's a little bit grungier. So I want to show you a couple of pieces of artwork. Okay, let's go. I'm going to come out a little bit so you can see this artwork better. And then I'll show you, right, here we go. So you can see crisp and clean, but I've panned out and now you can't see it. But I just want to show you a whole, now we're looking at these little pieces of artwork, which you would have thought that would be the first thing I'd reach for. But I wanted to show you all the corners, the panels, the roses, you know, the other bits that are on that fabulous set, because these pieces are self-explanatory, but I'm still going to show you how they work, okay? So let's take a look here. You can see we've got lovely glitter. Doesn't that look gorgeous? You can see how the words exactly sit in those little panels. Lovely little Christmas cards. Do love this, don't you? Linda Spencer, cream, green cream and glitter. Looks so nice. Now we're getting into the realm of a bit more grungy. Dee's used one of the matching stencil in the background. See how I wrapped that round there? This is what Dee's done here. So she's now made a little box in addition to the big box. This is a great one. I'm sure it's Sonia Goodliff. So she's used that stencil, that really clever stencil with the panels in it that I used on telly recently. And then you just use this as like panels, right? It's really good for that. Repeat stamping, doesn't that look great? Stamping on parchment, beautiful idea. Gold embossing with the, yeah, look, with the window, that looks nice. That's stamped on acetate. That's Tina Morris. This is another one, Linda Spencer. Black poppy fields with a stencil in the background. This is a beautiful one by Linda Spencer. See, so you take the matching stencil and you use it in the background. They're all very, very nice. Look, just work really well together. You can use them in pairs. This is a real grungy one by Sheila Metzeler using a stencil, metallic in the background, and then Merry Christmas. There's more stamping on parchment. Nice. And then, while I'm getting my bits together, so to speak, let me just show you all these lovely pieces. Look, so Dee made all these lovely little tags using crazy backgrounds. And this is really where I wanted to go now. So you've got all these lovely little tags on threads. Really nice. I love this kind of thing, you know, all different backgrounds, different papers. And the background completely changes the feel, doesn't it? From clean and crisp like this to grungy. So I was thinking, right, so how would we do that? And then, of course, I remembered that we've just launched these landscape backdrop prints. And I thought, well, they'd be absolutely brilliant for this because they give you that grunge, but not too much. So you could stamp straight onto it. So here's one that I've already done. Look, let's come in and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There's one I've added a little flash of colour and I've added the words there. There's one that I've done. Look, there's one pre-done with colour, without colour. How cool is this? Yeah. There's the tulip one, just in case you're thinking, oh, you can only do, not at all. So these little this is absolutely brilliant for this kind of art. So I'll do one more, I think, just to show you. Let's go to, since it's Christmas, I am going to stick to the snowdrop, only because it's that kind of, it's the colourways, isn't it? And I'll pop one on there like so. That'll do. I just need to, I'm using a long mount so that you can see exactly what I'm up to there. So I could use it that way and put the words underneath, or I can use it that way and have the light in the center. Do you see? So I've tended to go this way, just so that you can see, because they all have that, look, it's really cool, these little tags, but they're perfect for this job. Some might be a little darker than you want, but I want to show you just how versatile these are. And I'm just going to stamp onto a piece of card just to season, make sure that we're on track here. Just stay. I just want to season the stamp, and this will be the one that I can check my colours on as well. There we go. Let's have a look. Yeah, lovely. Okay, so I'm going to go for this one, and I think it will look really nice that way round. So you've got choices whether you go that way or that way, whether you use this, the Polaroid area. Let me just make sure I'm in view for you. Right, let's have a look. That's it. And then I can pop that in like so, decide where I want to place it, and then press. And then once I've done that, I'll show you how to position the little word. It's exactly the same principle as the corners. What do you think you're going to need for a one-liner like that? Yeah, see how it's like instant colour, already giving you that instant colour. I'm going to do the stamping before I do the colouring. So if I take one of my little words now, I'm going to take thank you. I think so. I think thank you's perfect. See, because I could use any number of words. But you know, I've got a bit of a wobble on a one-liner. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to stamp that on there. Like, let's get that straight. Just make sure that that's straight to start with. That will help. Right, so that's going to sit in there. I need a wobble stamp, an anti-wobble device. Out with the tulips again. Right, that'll do. See, so then I'm going to pop that on there like so, but I'm going to use the anti-wobble stamp to help me. And always remember, what's the first thing you say to yourself when you do this? You say, just before you plant the stamp, it's only a piece of card. Right, and this one, I can practice this. So I can hover and then plant. See, so I've done the scrap one. There you go, good enough. Right, take that one, and then I'm just going to pop the same principle. I've tested the stamp. I know how it works. I know that it fits. Right, so I ink that up, and I'm going to just, excuse my head if it's in the way. Bit of a glare on there. Let's have a look. And that should fit nicely. Good enough. There you go. So thank you is in. It's in the box, and then I'm going to take my... So you always want your anti-wobble. That will help you massively. And then you just put your words back where you want them. Fantastic stamps, really. Right, and then once I've got that, now it's just a question of adding a little flash of colour. What you want to do is bring out the picture. So I'm going to go for, let me just find a colour that I can use. See, and I can... This is the fun part, really, because now you can decide which colour do you want to, like, you know, you think, well, I ought to stick to the colours in the background. Not at all. Pick whatever colour you want. If I want to bring these flowers out, I'm going to bring them out with whatever colour I feel. See, I think thing about the polychromos is when you go over the top of these, this is the best part. When you go over the top of these printed backdrops, it's great because you get like diffusion. Do you see how it just, you see a little bit of the background, but it lightens it up. I mean, this is a different one to, this is different to that. So there's going to be a different effect. Every one is different. I'm just looking for a green. Bear with me a second. There's a nice green. Let's use this green. See, so I can do my trick again with the green. You know, you go from the base to the top, and then you get a bit of a highlight. Look, see? So you do that, do the same thing there as well. So you're learning those tricks. Bit from the top, bit from there. If you want to highlight the centers, bring the yellow in from the middle. Look at that. So that looks nice too, see? So you're bringing that yellow in. If you want to put a bit of depth, you want to make these look a little bit rounder, then just put a little bit of shadow around the base, and then they look more like a three-dimensional, see? Looks good too. And then if you want to add a bit more brightness, you need a sharp pencil for this one. But you can see how easy it is to just stamp over the top. And the best part is, for me, the background. It's just like it's already there for you. You haven't got to think about it. It's done. And then you can just, like now I'm going to take, let's say this yellow. Let me take this yellow here, little less citrusy, and I'm just going to add a kind of a yellow flash to the back. You know, you see how I'm doing this now? So it's not quite so cadmium yellow, but it just, watch where it goes from white, and I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of cream, and it just diffuses that and gives it a lovely warm finish. There you go, you see. And it's just adding a little flash of colour. You don't need loads, but you can make the most delightful little toppers in that way, using those Barb's landscapes, backdrop prints, toppers and tags. So I'm using the little tiny ones because they fit beautifully with these designs. But you've also got the larger ones, the toppers and the tags. And then, of course, as if that weren't great enough, you can treat yourself to these ones, the big fellas. They're the actual 7x7s, which are marvelous. So so there you go. So much time spent here, and I could spend all day just colouring in these beautiful designs. They're just lovely to do, whether you want to go arty grungy like this, or whether you want to go clean and simple like that, whether you want to use polychromos or perga colours, or the acrylic pens, the Posca pens. You know, there are so many different colouring options available to you. And I think that this particular set, and I've deliberately left the one set on the screen the whole time, 11680, you know, hour for hour, playtime, dollar for dollar. This is definitely the product of the day, in my opinion. So I hope that you've enjoyed this morning. The sun is shining here in the southeast of England. It was a very rainy day yesterday, so that's really cool. I hope that you enjoyed that. Now, don't forget, if you resubscribe to the clubs at the moment, there are double points right up until the 31st of December. So now's the time to resubscribe or join. If you join the clubs, it's not just for resubscriptions. If you want to bolt another club onto your existing club, you know, the clubs are the way to go. If you're into craft and you enjoy stamping or stencils or parchment craft, then I really do suggest and recommend that you join one or two or even three of our clubs, but at least join one. And then not only will you receive a fabulous envelope every month with a brand new beautiful design, with double projects, because that's what it's all about: education, education, education. You're going to get beautiful month-on-month tutorials that you can collect the set. You'll get the product to do the job, the stamp, the stencil, or the groovy plate. And in addition to that, as if that weren't good enough, you also get 10%, 12.5%, or 15% off anything you buy from Clarity. Plus, there are a couple of really good sales just exclusively for clubs. So, yeah, I think now would be a really good time to tackle one, two, or three of our clubs, and then just sit back and enjoy, and we'll take care of the rest. So have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for joining me. I hope you got something out of that hour and a half. I enjoyed it. Gracie, thanks for your help. I'm looking for my switch off button. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday in the shack at 10 o'clock in the morning. Bye-bye now. Go easy.